talk about chocolate molds. I'm going to show you some different types of molds that are out there and what we use, how we prepare them for use, and some of the pitfalls that can happen if they're not prepared properly. So let's get started. So the molds that we use here primarily are the hard plastic polycarbonate molds. They come in all different shapes, different sizes. So the way that we get the different shapes on our chocolate bonbons is really we have a variety of different molds that we use here. We also use the hard plastic molds for our bars. So the size that we use has 3 bars per mold. If you've ever purchased or eaten our Very Berry bar or smoked almond bar, that's what we make with these molds. And you can see how it comes out with this really cool design on the back. So just a little extra bonus when you're having a little treat. I actually just purchased also this really cool mold. It's by Vincent Valet, who is a very well-known chocolatier and pastry chef. It's got this really cool geode design in it, so I'm excited to try it. I haven't used it yet, but we'll see what happens and what flavor it turns out to be. Another type of chocolate mold that you have probably seen if you've gone to a craft store is this thermoformed type of mold. It is a flexible plastic, and it's typically good for a few uses. It's not something that you're going to use, 100 times. But it's great for candy making, for chocolate making, just kind of fun in-house stuff. And also it's used to make kind of limited edition designs or things like that. You can design your own mold and use the thermoform machine to make a mold like that. The last type of mold is the silicone mold. You've probably seen these as well. They make molds out of silicone for baking too, which you may have. They make cake molds and muffin molds, things like that. They're great because they're heat resistant, they're cold resistant, they're easy to clean, they're very durable. The reason we don't use them really here very much for chocolate making is because they're not rigid. They don't really work well with the types of techniques that we need to use to make our chocolate. However, they are great if you want to make chocolate truffles or other things that you're going to cover in another coating or dip, because all you do is you put your filling, your main content into the cavity, and then when it's set, it's really easy to pop it out. Just like this, you push it out from the back. So it definitely has very good uses as well. So one of the key factors in how your chocolate turns out is how clean your mold is, which is really critical. So the way we clean our molds is we wash them in hot soapy water in between each use, but then we also polish the molds with a 91% alcohol solution. And so we spray the molds, then we take a cotton swab, and we clean each cavity, every single one. If the mold has corners or ridges or anything like that, we will also take a Q-tip and go through each corner to make sure everything is clean and there's no schmutz left in there. So the result of a well-cleaned mold is a shiny bonbon. So as an example, you can see, this is our cookie butter bonbon, and it's got a beautiful shine on it, and that is the result both of a clean mold and also equally critical is very well-tempered cocoa butter and well-tempered chocolate, which I'll get into in another episode. But you can see a few other examples here of well-tempered chocolate, well-tempered cocoa butter, and a clean mold. So what can go wrong when your mold isn't clean or your cocoa butter isn't properly tempered? This can go wrong. So this is an example of the cookie butter bonbon, and as you can see, some of the design actually got left in the mold. It didn't come off with the rest of the bonbon when it was unmolded. It's also a little bit duller, so you can see the difference there. The same thing happened here. This is a pistachio cardamom bonbon. Again, some of the cocoa butter got left in the mold. And one other thing that can happen here is this is our chocolate ganache bonbon. So it's got, I don't know if you can see, it's got like flecks of color, purple and silver in there, which we put in before we back spray it with the blue color. But this is how it's supposed to look. And then this one, what happened was the silver and the purple splashes actually stayed in the mold when the bonbon came out, so it left these like little pits on the surface, and obviously it's quite dull as well. So it's really super important to have very clean molds, to properly temper your cocoa butter, to properly temper your chocolate. I will say that there are other chocolatiers who actually don't do the same cleaning process we do in between molds. I kind of do this as our insurance policy. But for example, I was talking to one of my teachers and mentors, a friend of mine, Nicholas the other day, and he was telling me that he doesn't clean them that well in between, but I assume that that's because his products always come out perfectly from the mold. I'm sure his conditions are excellent. His cocoa butter and chocolate are tempered perfectly, so he doesn't have to do that. But until we reach that level, like I said, this is our insurance policy, and that's how we ensure that we give you the beautiful product that we do. So stay tuned, because in the next episode I am going to open an actual cacao pod and show you what the fruit looks like inside, and show you the cacao beans, and talk to you a little bit about how we go from this big cocoa pod to the chocolate that you're gonna enjoy. Thank you so much. Have a great day.